We're going to talk about Unbreakable.
Troy, don't drown me.
But you're wearing that poncho.
I got a sweet poncho. I got a sweet poncho.
Welcome to the review, a show where
welcome to
Small Town News. Come on, big. I'm Short of the Max Extreme.
Hey, I'm JT3K.
And we are talking about
Flashback.
Unbreakable. Oh, on a
Unbreakable.
flashback episode.
We're so on the same page. It's uncanny.
It is synergy. Last week, we reviewed The Happening, the winner of our tournament of random movies.
Yeah.
And
you can call it a winner, I fucking guess.
And we decided to dip into the Shyamalan pool again.
To not kill ourselves on the faith of M. Night Shyamalan altogether.
To not sully his name further and go on to something a little bit more well-received.
Yeah. Well, at least more well-received on your end.
Yeah, so this one is actually interesting because we did this one, I mean, not terribly long ago.
Yeah.
But I don't remember this review much at all.
Yeah, and I don't either because I usually try and revisit them before we do them as a flashback to make sure they're interesting, and I did not for this. So this could be boring as fuck.
So we better spice up this intro.
Yeah, we better make this a really saucy intro.
Well, with the kind of synergy we got going right now, this should not be an issue.
Yeah, because we always finish each other's sandwiches.
Just like in Frozen, like that song. You know what? Macy has been watching a shit ton of Frozen, and it's killing me slowly. Like, she had me listen to the soundtrack on the way home from daycare today. She's like, play Frozen! And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, well, what else am I doing?
Troy loves an open door.
Not anymore. For 3 different songs.
Take it any...
So I had my niece and Macy and obviously Miles in the car. Put it on. They loved it. So, like, it's hard to argue with something that they love because they were singing along to all the songs. Even though, like, ones I would like, this is an obscure one. Like, the one in the very... Are you familiar enough with Frozen? Like, the very beginning, they have, like, those ice cutters. Oh. And it's, like, the men, like, chant singing a bit.
I don't remember that one.
Anyway, that, I feel like, is an obscure song, and Macy was singing that one, too. I'm like, what the hell? You must really pay attention a lot more than I think you do. So anyway, long story short, I found myself singing and harmonizing with them, and I'm like, oh no, my life is now ending.
So who's the guy in that movie that I am? Quote, the guy with the biggest beard.
The guy with the big beard in Frozen?
Because Chelsea always makes the joke that whoever is the beard, the villain with a beard is usually me in all the Disney movies.
You're not in Frozen.
Okay.
You're more of a Tangled villain.
Gotcha.
There's like 2 brute brothers that have like beards and stuff.
Oh, I know exactly who they are.
Yep.
And I'm already pissed.
Well, you're them.
I'm gonna go wake her up and yell at her.
Oh my god, I would kill you to death.
How the fuck am I those 2, Macy?
I will push you out her window. Hopefully you land on your fucking car.
I'm just gonna headbutt windows like that chicken Happening.
Yeah. So actually, now this is going back on almost a full week, but I watched a bit of Elimination Chamber.
Oh, I need to go back and watch that.
I only watched. Yeah, it was fine.
Okay.
The tag chamber match was fun.
Yeah, wasn't there like a crazy spot where like someone like jumped off the top?
Yes, somebody. I can't remember who it was.
They're like a weird like hanging moonsault.
Hanging shooting star. Ooh. Like they swung and then just let go and did it on the group.
Boof.
And Heavy Machinery is great.
Dude, I fucking love Otis Dozovic
Yeah.
He's my favorite person.
He was great. He was great. You'll be a big fan.
Come on, Tucky!
So
I can't wait for our WrestleMania when we get the whole gang back together.
Oh my god, it's gonna be.
And then we'll have way more stories because me and Coach will be down there.
Oh yeah, it'll just be me and Eric up here hanging out.
Yep. We'll come back and give you guys the Corona.
Why'd I even bring that up? Why'd I bring up Elimination Chamber? Oh, I'd tell you why. Because Macy thought you were part of heavy machinery because you're a man with a beard.
Come on, Ducky!
So just embrace it. There you go.
I'm just going to gain 300 pounds and
well,
be Otis.
To be fair, it doesn't really matter, like, the size ratio. If you're just a man in general with a beard,
yeah,
she thinks it's you every time.
Awesome.
Yep.
I'm just cornering the beard market.
Well, unless it's a short, like a scruffy beard, then she thinks it's me.
Okay.
So she usually thinks I'm some like Abercrombie model on a wall.
Oh, fuck this.
And then
I'm all the Otis. Fucking gross. I'm the gross fat fucks that can't fucking keep themselves.
Yeah. So
if it's a groomed beard, it's Dad.
Yeah.
If it's an unkempt piece of shit, it's Uncle Joel.
But, I would like to say your beard game's on point. It's looking pretty tight tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Well, I trimmed it. It's not as bushy as it has been.
It's true. You unbushed it.
I unbushed it. I debushed.
Yeah. With that news of debushing, why don't we get into Unbreakable?
Let's go check out Unbreakable.
Where you will not find a bush trying to kill people in this movie.
Yes.
There you go.
What an amazing segue.
There you go. So enjoy our flashback review.
Yes. Starting
Unbreakable.
Starting right now.
Synergy. Our first stop in our non-stop runaway train ride that kills everyone but one person to Glass.
The Shyamalaniverse.
That's right. Unbreakable debuted November 14th. In the year 2000.
Winter release.
In the year 2000.
Man, it's before 9/11.
That's right.
We were all bright and chipper. Nothing could happen to us. Nothing bad will ever happen to us.
That's right. Oh my. If only we had the foresight. With a budget of $75 million domestically in the United States, it made $95 million, raking in a $248.1 million worldwide box office.
Oh boy.
Did pretty good for itself.
Oh yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes has it at 69%. IMDb has it at 7.3 out of 10. Metacritic at 62%. And Gummy Popcorn gives it a 4.
All right. Out of what?
I don't know.
Gummy popcorn sounds gross.
Yep. They also had another category that I didn't include. They have like the main score and then like a yummy score. And I think it's about how attractive a person is in a film. And they gave Bruce Willis a 3. And I don't know what the fuck any of this means.
Gummy popcorn reminds me of like those butter popcorn Jelly Belly jelly beans.
Oh, I think those are good.
Really? I don't like them.
I could see that. I mean, I could definitely see that. But anytime I have them, I'm like, this can't possibly taste like popcorn. And then you have one's like, well, knock me over with a feather.
I don't know.
It kind of tastes like popcorn.
I don't know. It's got like a styrofoamy taste to it, I think.
I could see that. But if anyone...
Send us your opinions. What do you think of butter popcorn Jelly Belly jelly beans?
Yeah, I'm actually very curious. I am a fan. If anybody out there has had the butter popcorn Jelly Belly jelly beans, right into the show.
And that's the show. So what are you seeing, Jerome?
JT?
Yeah.
What's going on Unbreakable? Why don't you give us the lowdown?
Well, we follow a guy by the name of David Dunn?
That's correct.
David Dunn, who is on a train that gets derailed and he finds out that the derailment was so catastrophic that he was the only survivor.
Mm-hmm.
And in the process of finding out just what happened to him, he comes across a strange man, played by Samuel L. Jackson, whose first name is Elijah.
That's right.
Elijah, who has a disorder where his bones are not as dense as other people's, which causes them to break very easily.
Yes.
And leads him on a path to find out just really what is his condition.
Osteogenesis imperfecta.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm saying in terms of Bruce Willis, what is really going on that is causing him to not be broken. Hashtag Unbreakable.
Very good, JT. So if you haven't pieced together the plot yet from good old Sean's letter,
yeah,
or if you haven't seen it already,
or from my expert retelling of it.
Hey, your retelling of it leaves out very crucial things, but still gets
I
the
try
point
and
across.
keep it up to the people.
That's right. Very good.
To the people.
To the people. To the people! I don't know what I'm even doing here.
Soylent Green is people?
Soylent Green is people, JT. First, I was afraid. I was petrified. Oh my god. All the whole show is just devolved into stupid non sequiturs. Oh my god. Anyway, what I forgot about watching this film, because I watched this film quite a bit when it came out on DVD.
Yeah.
Is that how hard it actually leans into the comic book idea?
Yeah, because I remember when we saw the trailer for Glass, we were kind of making fun of it for, it's like, oh, you're really going into this comic book. You're really liking this comic book idea.
Yeah. But I think it's in a different way. And maybe that's just the way the trailer is, because we're not sure if that's actually how it's going in the movie. But the trailer looks like it's leaning hard in a different way. Like, this more or less has subtle comic book things while shoehorning in actual comic books. And, like, even the beginning text of the movie is, like, every comic has an average of 35 pages and 125 illustrations, blah, blah, and it gives, like, facts about, like, that.
Even down to where, like, Bruce Willis has, like, a comic book name.
Yeah, an alliterated name, like David Dunn, Peter Parker, Scott Summers, Clark Kent, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So I thought that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Even, like, the color palette that they use for the characters is, like, a heroic or villainous color palette for each character. So, like, David Dunn has, like, a green, which usually, I mean, it's going to prove me wrong because, like, the Ninja Turtles are green, there's Green Arrow, there's, like, Green Lantern and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, it's a secondary color palette, and purple is usually used for, like, your evil characters, unless you're, like, a dark and mysterious character, like a Batman or a Bat Family type character like that. So that's kind of cool, and that's Sam Jackson's color scheme, and you kind of see that even in flashback scenes when he opens up gifts, he has purple wrapping paper on his stuff, and the inside of his coat is purple, and it's also funny too that purple is like his favorite color, and so he also talked George Lucas into having a purple lightsaber.
Yeah.
And so I think this is Sam Jackson's type stuff. So he kind of just asked M. Night, like, that was cool. Can I line my coat with purple? And he was like, yeah, sure, I don't care. Do whatever you want, Sam.
Yeah, I know. It's like, the big twist of this was supposed to be that Sam Jackson or Elijah was the villain all along, but it's like, dude dresses like a supervillain this entire fucking movie.
Right.
It's like, you're almost like, it's probably one of those things like when you first see it, it's like, I should have seen that coming a mile away, because he dresses like a fucking, he dresses like the king.
Megalomaniac.
Yeah, he dresses like the kingpin almost the whole fucking movie, even down to where, like, his cane is made out of pure glass.
Right. Which I guess was another idea of Sam Jackson's. He should have a cane made of glass. Like, that is not sturdy.
No.
If you need to lean on something, you don't want something that can accidentally break and just shatter you all up.
I mean, granted, like if you walk with a limp to begin with, you're gonna fucking drop that cane.
Also, he doesn't walk downstairs very well.
No.
Like, when he's after that guy, I'm just like, come on, take your time. You're trying to, like, just...
He wants to see if that gun's in his pants.
Like, have you ever tried to go down a set of stairs fast enough and you kind of, like, slip your heel off the edge of the stair and you end up going, like,
it's so fun.
Down the stairs? I thought he was going to do that down the concrete stairs at any given point
and then
in
his
time.
like, ankles just, like, they compress on themselves.
Yeah.
I want to see, like, his legs break where they just, like, break into themselves.
Oh, they just accordion?
Just compound fracture accordion style.
Oh, that would be amazing. Going into some IMDb trivia on this, I found a few things interesting, JT.
Oh, really?
That disease that he has is actually a real disease.
Really?
The osteogenesis imperfecta is real, but it's very rare. I guess there's an Australian celebrity that has it. And he was just born with it. I don't know how severe it is, if the movie played it up or not, but...
Well, even, like, says that, like, he has, like, the least severe version of it.
Right.
Like, he has, like, stage 1, but it's, like, there's stage 4 where it's, like, you don't even live that long.
Right. I guess it's, like, a certain protein that, like, your body doesn't make. So if you don't, like, make it at all, you're probably effed in the A.
Yeah.
I did really like the opening of this a lot, where you see the birth of Elijah.
Yeah, and like the guy that like picks him up is like looks horrified. Where it's like, what the fuck happened
to this baby?
Yeah, it's like, what did I miss? Like, because he walks in after he's born, he's just like, did you guys just take turns beating the fuck out of this baby?
Like, he's like, did somebody drop this baby? And that lady's like, Jesus Christ, no!
He's like super pissed that he would bring it up.
Like, oh my God.
I would say one of my favorite characters in this movie is Elijah's mom. I would say she's probably one of my favorites that sticks out because it's like she has like this, you kind of get this feeling from her where it's like she understands what condition he has and she's kind of discouraged by it, and then as it goes on and you find out how fucked up he is in the head because he has it, but because that fucked upness is like causing him to like kind of reach his full potential, she's like weirdly proud of it.
Yeah, at the end, I didn't notice it before because she's only in like the bookends of it, really.
Yeah.
Like at the end, I couldn't tell if she like kind of knew what Elijah was up to. You know?
I feel like she was.
Yeah?
Yeah, because it's like she does that whole thing where like she like points out Bruce Willis at the very end and is like, she makes sure she introduces herself and is like very like almost kind of taken back by him, like kind of smitten, where she's like, you are my son's like project.
Right.
And she's like almost proud of him, where it's like he did all this work and he found you, and because he did all this, he accomplished more than he probably ever thought he ever could. And it's like her talking to him is like going to his basketball game and seeing him shoot the game-winning shot, where it's like, this is all of his hard work coming to fruition, and she's so proud of him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess come to think of it, she would have to know what he's up to. Like, he doesn't try to hide his plans at all.
No.
They're in that just back room.
Yeah.
Which, if his mom is a semi-caretaker of him,
yeah,
she would have to see all that stuff.
Yeah.
And even, like, she's even has, like, a weird vibe when she comes up to David Dunn at the end and is like, oh, you're all my son talks about.
Yeah.
And, like, goes over and says, I'll go tell him that you're here. And it just seems like she's, like, almost tired in, like, of all of this madness, but she can't stop it.
No, I didn't take that at all. I saw her as like, she's like, this is like her proudest moment, where it's like she had a son who she saw was like pretty much just down on life in general. And it's like, you're kind of seeing that growth where it's like, she has this son who is like pretty much given up on life, and then she introduces this one thing that kind of reinvigorates him, and now she's seeing that come to fruition. Granted, it's fucked up a lot of people's lives.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like now she's seeing, like, in like her weird sick way, she's seeing like how her parenting is paid off to like add some fulfillment into his life, and like almost kind of made her feel like she's a good mom, I think. Because she's like elated at the end there. Like, she's really proud that her son found this guy. Like, she's like gloating about it.
Yeah.
Even like dropping like subtle hints about like folklore with villains in stories, like kind of like almost alluding that her son is like his ultimate rival.
Right.
Like dropping subtle hints here and there where it's like she's kind of feeding that for him, where it's like she's so proud that he's made it to this point.
Yeah. I don't know if I would say like she's like my favorite character of the movie or anything like that, but I do like her, especially at the end. What I also like too is that even the audience comes to learn that Mr. Glass is like the villain of the movie.
Yeah.
But like Mr. Glass knows he's the villain the whole time.
Yeah.
And it just took him to find like David Dunn just to be like, "Yep, I am." Like, he had no... Like, he already had that suspicion, like, I'm probably evil. But, I'm just gonna see if there's an exact opposite of me. Then it's gonna really put a period on the end of that sentence.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think Mr. Glass is probably the most interesting.
Yeah.
Because he's the one that's driving all of the actions in this.
Right.
And he's like drawn to this world where I thought it was really interesting because like the Orville just came back on Fox, and they have like an episode where one of the characters on there is like constantly goes in these simulations and like has like these weird sexual escapades and stuff. Like with it being Seth MacFarlane, you're just kind of like imagining like, oh, it's gonna be like this weird, crazy, like kind of like comedic thing where it's like, oh, I'm like a porn addict, but it's a fucking, it's like a simulator, so it's like actually having sex, and it's like everyone's going nuts about it. But they take it home in like a really cool way where like they have like a sit down with him where he's like, the only reason I really did it was because I was very, very unhappy with this one aspect in my life. And it kind of like brings it all home where it's like, oh shit, like it goes from being like a funny problem to like a serious problem. And I feel like that's what kind of like this movie does, where you have Sam Jackson as Mr. Glass, who has this aspect in his life that he just can't get over. And like comic books are kind of like his porn to him, where it's like he starts off being into comic books, and then it's like he gets to a point where he needs it to be more than what it is, and he needs to keep upping the ante. Even where when you first see him as an adult, he's in an art gallery where he's got like reimaginings of comic book art, but they're more realistic. Like, he takes pride in the fact that they look more true to life than when they did in the book. And then it gets to where that's not enough. Now I need it to actually be real, and I'm going to do this crazy shit to make it real. Like, he's like a porn addict for comic books. Where it's like, you watch two people have sex, and it's like, no, that's not enough. I need to watch 3 people have sex. I need to watch 4 people have sex. I need to watch bondage. You need to get
people
to this
dumping
point
on each other.
Yeah, you need to get crazier and crazier and crazier to fill that void, because it becomes bigger and bigger the more you put into it. So it's like, okay, yeah, comic books are good, but now I need more. I need more from that. I need it to feel more real than what it is. And that's why, like, when you first see him and he's in that gallery, and he takes so much pride in the fact that the drawings look so much more realistic than the actual books. And the guy's like, cool, I'll buy it for my kid. And he's like, no, these aren't for kids. Like, these are for you're supposed to appreciate them.
Right.
Like, he gets offended where it's like he wants that feeling that this world that he immerses himself in is real, to where he gets to a point where it's like, I just can't imagine anymore. It needs to be real for me, and that's why he does all this shit.
It's an odd analogy. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Completely. I don't think I necessarily agree with it 100%, but it's got grains of things that I can follow. Like, he's completely immersed in a whole comic book lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I think just being immersed in it that long makes you want to try to find similarities in real life to, like, kind of like how you were saying.
Yeah.
But the art gallery that you were showing that guy earlier in the movie, those drawings were not necessarily recreations. Those were drawings that were done before the comic cover that you saw. And then he had to simplify it for whatever. He's like, wouldn't this... But then it goes back to what you're saying, like...
Yeah.
Isn't this more realistic? Like, why would you change such, like, a beautiful masterpiece or something like that?
But yeah, he points it out where it's like, this is like a cover, but now this is like the more realistic version of that cover or something. Yeah. Like, he points out, like, the things that make it more true to life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he'd almost kind of, like, I won't say get off, but, like, he gets more pleasure out of the idea that it's like, this looks more like how it would look if it actually existed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that he likes the most out of these gallery drawings than he would if he were to get out of a comic book.
Yeah. Actually, I was trying to notice in any comic book shop they were in, or in his gallery where he's got, like, walls of comics and stuff. I was just trying to, like, look at titles and stuff.
Yeah.
Almost every single one of them, like, I'm going to say 99% of them are all Marvel comics.
Yeah.
And I wondered if, like who made this? Was it, like, Lionsgate or Touchstone or something like that?
You don't know.
Let me see. I'm at IMDb right now. I don't know who made this. It doesn't say. I can't find it anywhere. But I just wondered if it was, like, something that... But in 2000, Disney wouldn't have owned that kind of stuff anyway, maybe. Anyway, who knows? I was just wondering, like, if that was, like, a thing where nobody else wanted to participate in something like that. Anyway, fun deal. Saw, like, a few covers of Namor and the Avengers in there.
Oh my.
Fun stuff. Fun little Easter eggs.
Oh my God.
What I also found cool, too, on first few viewings of this is that because it came out in 2000, the only real comic book movies that we've had are, like, maybe the X-Men and Blade. Yeah. Obviously Blade.
Of course Blade. Don't you... If Dave's listening, he's gonna fucking... Maybe Blade? Blade!
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't crash the window when we said that.
He's like the Kool-Aid man for Blade.
You guys watching Blade? You wanna? Got
it popped in right now. You guys want to check it out? Blade?
So on first watch, even though it is, like, laden with, like, comic book paraphernalia in it, I didn't, I guess, expect it to be like a straight, like, superhero origin story on first watch.
Yeah.
And even, like, after, because I think I saw this in the theater. I can't remember. But then I definitely saw it on DVD and kind of forgot that and remembered it again. I'm like, oh yeah, this is, like, just a superhero origin story.
Yeah.
And it kind of comes out of nowhere, and it can kind of trick audiences into watching this type of movie.
Yeah.
Because it is taken, like, with a more serious tone.
Yeah.
It just happens to have these fun elements just sprinkled in.
I think that's the thing about the Shyamalaniverse that I'm more interested in, is that it feels like a more true-to-life world.
Yes.
Where very few people are realizing that they are, in fact, these comic book characters.
Right.
But they're dealing with, like, very real-life situations.
Right. I mean, the only real... Like, even David Dunn, when he realizes he has, like, quote, superpowers.
Yeah.
It's not anything, like, way out there.
No.
And like the only thing that's like kind of makes a jump is that he could kind of like mentally tell there's some like bad people out there.
Yeah.
That's the kind of jump you have to like, the biggest jump you have to kind of make in the movie, I think.
I know. Like,
and I don't necessarily hate it because I remembered that and I was like, oh, I don't know if I like that or not. But then watching it this time, I'm like, that's not so bad.
Yeah. One of my things about this that I'm kind of stuck on is that I'm not too sold on David Dunn and like how he like comes across, whether or not he believes he is like super powered or not. Because I feel like the movie really is like trying to juggle with whether or not to portray him as someone who's hiding that he's a superhero or someone that doesn't realize he's a superhero. Because it feels like it goes back and forth a lot where like you're kind of like left to believe at certain points like, oh, well, he's just now discovering he has these powers. And then there's other points where it's like, well, he knew he had them all along. He just decided not to tell people. But then the movie never really tells you which side it is. Where it's like, so did you hide it? Or did you just forget? Or, because there are scenes where they show like, and it's like scenes in his life that he should fucking remember. But it's like he just kind of decides to not remember, or like he just blocks out of his memory. I don't know. Like,
see, I took it as like he never even realized that he has these abilities. And you're
rips a car door off of a car.
I know, but like you hear stories about like mothers lifting up cars off their kids. That's no different.
Yeah, but it's just, there's so much shit where, like, it should have probably struck him way faster. And it's just, the movie kind of plays with, like, oh, he's hiding it. Oh, no, he's...
I don't think it plays with that at all. I'm pretty sure, like, 100% that it's, like, you're finding out as he is finding out that he has these abilities.
But then they even, like, kind of, like, they play up the whole thing where it's, like, where he fakes the injury to get out of being in football. Like, he almost kind of lies to himself about that, where it's like, so did he convince himself he's injured? Is he hiding that? Like, you never really, even like the sick days, like I could probably pinpoint like days when I'm sick, and then it takes him a while to be like, oh, I guess I wasn't sick. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just like small things here and there where I'm like, maybe, but it's kind of a stretch for me.
Okay. Like, I think it's maybe a bit of a stretch for me to like think that like he never realizes he's never been sick before.
Yeah.
But like then I was trying to think of like, when's the last time I've been sick? And like, I don't know, but I know I have been.
Yeah. So
I don't know how to take that. Like, what is he, like 40 in this? To like never.
Yeah, something like that.
But then again, like I've never broken a bone or anything like that either.
Yeah.
So like I stay relatively unharmed.
I mean, yeah, you kind of brought me around to the whole like him ripping the car door off, and like, yeah, where like if you have adrenaline, you can do crazy things when you're pushed to that point. And but I don't know, there's like maybe things, I don't know, like it's just there's like certain things where it's like it takes him a while to like kind of like discover things where it's like you didn't know you had that.
But then again, like I'm not, it doesn't draw like a lot of attention to it, and it doesn't really take a deep dive where you really question that. You're just kind of like, oh yeah, I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
Like for almost everything. Like he never like when he was testing his strength. Let's just get to the weightlifting thing here. But let me finish my thought really quick. And why don't you pass me one of those there too?
Do it.
So like he doesn't realize how strong he ever was, but he was in football. And if he's had this like this kind of like ability his whole life,
yeah.
But at the same time, when he is weightlifting down there, they don't say like an over-exaggerant amount of, like, weight that he's lifting.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't say, like, how much you put on there? 4,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, it's nothing like that.
But he does have, like, he goes from, like, struggling, he does, like, 100-pound jump.
Yeah.
And he's like, that probably doesn't mean anything.
Well, I just want, I don't know, like, maybe it's the point where it's, like, a mind over matter type thing, where it's like, I don't think I've ever benched 250 pounds before. And then he eventually adds enough where it's like 350 pounds, and he's just like, yeah, I'm struggling to get this up, but I wonder if, like, that would be every single time. It's like, put 500 on there. And he's like, yep, I can do it. I'm struggling, but I can put it up.
I'm not hating that, because I can see where it's like people can convince themselves that they aren't, like, to this potential, and then once they are put in that situation and they have to do it, then it's like, oh shit, I can do that.
Right.
I get that. My problem with do you want me to get into the whole...
Yeah, I do. I'm super curious.
So, my whole thing with the weightlifting scene in this, I sent a message to Troy earlier in the day where I said, the weightlifting scene in Unbreakable just totally solidifies to me that M. Night Shyamalan has never lifted weights his entire life. Because, first of all, Bruce Willis gets up to 350 pounds lifting weights, and he's using, like, a fucking, like, weight set that's, like, very, like, low key,
rudimentary.
It's made for, like, it's like those, like, really shitty ones that you would buy, like, at a garage sale,
or like a Walmart,
with, like, with, like, the fucking, like, the shitty leg presses where you put the fucking plastic weights on it and you're like, oh, look at me, I'm working out and shit. And then, like, they show the weights that they have on there. That's not, like, first of all, when he's doing quote unquote 250 pounds, that is not 250 pounds.
I wondered if that was going to be your...
There is no way in fuck that is 250 pounds. There is no weight on there. Not one of those plates on there is probably more than 30 pounds. Right, and he has, like, 6 on each side. And they get relatively smaller as they go down. Like, at best, he maybe has, like, maybe 150... maybe 175 on that bar.
Right. Yeah, I believe you on that.
And then when he puts the paint cans on, where it's like, this is going to be way more weight, that's probably an extra 20 pounds.
Right. Right.
Like, it's not where it's like, I need to put more weight on, I better put these paint cans on. Or it's like, how many people have you seen walk out with paint cans being like, Jesus Christ, this paint!
I'm gonna get fucking yoked up on this paint!
Also, he has his son hide behind a wall.
Yeah,
like he's gonna blow up if he can't fucking lift this weight.
I thought that too, because, like, his son is literally standing like 10 feet away, and he's like, "You better back up.
You better back up. Like,
fuck?
Are you gonna fucking explode if you can't lift this weight?
Are you worried about maybe you shitting your pants so hard you hit him with shit?"
And, like, his son is, like, terrified, like, oh my god, he's gonna spontaneously combust if he can't lift this weight.
Yeah. Even though poking fun at this scene is pretty fun, I was watching it and I'm like, I can't really tell what Joel is going to be talking about when he wants to talk about the weightlifting scene, unless he's going to be talking about that possibly cannot be 350
no
pounds.
Way in fuck.
Which I definitely believe you. That's not 350 pounds.
I've seen like 350 pounds on bars, and it's like, it needs to, like, on, like, a professional bar, which that's not, it takes up, like, half the fucking space on it with, like, nothing but 45-pound weights.
Right. I still like the scene anyway. It's still fun.
Yeah.
But
it looks nothing like 350 pounds, though.
No, it does
Unless that bar is made of solid lead. There's no way
all those weights are solid lead. And then you just have lead paint.
There's no way in fuck. Oh shit. Man.
But what did you another thing I forgot in this too is, like, I knew obviously he has an aversion to water. Like,
Yeah.
he can't swim. It's like, you know what? Secret of my life right now? My dad can't swim. Doesn't know how. So...
Don't tell people.
Well,
they're going to try and come out and throw them in lakes. They're going to find out who your dad is.
If anyone out there finds my dad, please do not throw him in a lake.
Don't throw Troy the Max's dad in a lake. I'm going to tell you where Troy works so you can find his dad.
No!
And then you're going to throw him in a lake.
It's my biggest fear.
Telling people who... That is their most ridiculous fear. Me telling people where you work so they put all together to find your dad to throw him in a lake.
Throw him in some body of water. Anyway, I totally forgot that the reason he gets himself in that little pickle is that he's like chasing down like a murderer.
Yeah.
And possible rapist, I would assume.
Yeah, that mom at the end had some shit done to her.
Yeah. And I was like, holy fuck, I forgot how dark this gets. Even
it does, yeah.
Earlier on when he's kind of like realizes he has that ability to see like what's going on, which just can't be like the first time that's ever happened. He has to have that ability.
He has, but he kind of plays it off where it's like he has a feeling about people. Like that's why I like that power of his, where it's like it's something you can kind of not brush off, but you can kind of be like, I got like a feeling about people.
Oh, so he's got like writes it off as like a hunch.
Yeah, like when he does it at the in the line, when he bumps into that guy with the camo shirt, like camo like moo looks like Jesus Christ,
like a camo trench coat. It's the ugliest thing ever.
Oh, weird to wear to a fucking like football game. It's the weirdest fucking thing.
Yeah.
But when he like bumps into him and then he fucking like has it where like he like the guy like pats down people to like make sure he doesn't get in with like a gun, like how he describes what he sees. I mean, I can kind of maybe see someone.
Yeah, like putting it together. That's like
put it together where it's like I know people like that, and I got this feeling about him. Just make sure you check him to make sure.
Right. Yeah, I felt the same way during that too.
Yeah.
But then other times when like he bumped into that lady like dragging her kid out of there, and he had that like premonition of her just beating that kid at home.
But it was like so like it was like really faint. Like it was like really like sudden.
Yeah.
Where it's like it wasn't enough for like he got a full on vision of it. It was just kind of like boop, and then you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah. But, I mean, still at the same time, like, it'd be weird just bump into a bunch of people and then bump into one lady and it's like, oh, she probably beats her kids.
I mean, in all honesty, don't we, like, just, like, go through, like...
Yes,
I've done
know.
shit like that, too, where I'm like, that
I
motherfucking... that person does some shit.
She definitely beats kids. Yeah, I know we do the same shit. There's actually an internet rumor that kid being dragged away is... McAvoy's character in Split.
That'd be cool.
It's just a fun little thing to put together. And then where I had an end point to this conversation and I've just lost it. Anyway, the murderer in this, when he finally finds out in like that train station or whatever it is.
Yeah, like he goes into when he finally figures out that he is definitely like super powerful, then like he goes to Mr. Glass and he's like, well then you gotta really test this shit out. You gotta really find out like how good you are at it. And then that's when he like reaches his full potential where it's like people he touches, like he can see like the last really terrible thing they did.
Yeah. And this is when it went from like, okay, we're kind of embracing, like right up before this point.
Yeah.
It's kind of embracing its full, like, kind of campiness where it's like, yes, David, you have powers. You should go test them.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, when he's testing them and he finds all these, like, bad things, it gets instantly real again.
Yeah.
Because it's shitty real life things.
And it's not like super like, this guy wants to take all of the world's gold. It's like, it's like crazy real life. Like, you can you can see yourself, like, walking through, like, a bus station and just, like, bumping into someone and being like, that guy fucking rapes people. where you're like, oh my god, like, but that's why I like this universe. It's like it still grounds itself enough in reality where it's like even though you have these supernatural things, it's still a supernatural like comic book style character whose real villain is just us. Like,
yeah.
We're fucked enough where it's like you don't need a super villain. You just need to bump into the nearest guy you find at a train station and be like, you're my afternoon. I'm spending the rest of my day on you because you're fucked.
You are a stinker. You're a little rascal that goes into people's houses and fucking murders them. But like that scene where he bumps into the murderer guy and the whole scene where he comes up to the guy's door and he's like, well, can I come in? I'm just like, that gave me the fucking chills.
Yeah.
Like, that is so creepy.
Yeah, it wasn't like some raving lunatic just being like, ah! And then stabbing him to death. He's just like, I just want to come into your house. And you're like, man, motherfucker. I've had times where, like, I answer the door and, like, the guy's just kind of off where I'm like, I really hope this guy doesn't, like, bum rush into my house and just murder me right now.
Yeah. That's creepy
especially fucking Jehovah's Witnesses. Those fuckers look like they want to stab you to death.
And then leave a pamphlet on.
They want to tell you about the Lord, and they want to fucking wear your skin. That's a Jehovah's Witness.
Oh man. And then when he finally follows this dude to the house, and it gets like super real and dark, where like they got their kids chained up and all that shit, and like the wife is
not even chained up. Like they use wire, and then they have like the blood. They have, like, the fucking, like, red marks around the wire where you're like, it just... M. Night just finds a way to make the scene to that level where it's like, okay, that's more real than, like, a movie like this.
Yeah.
Like, the red rash, blood marks around the wrists where, like, the wire's tied.
Right.
And, like... Even, like, the fight scene that he has with him, like, when he comes back from the pool, where there's no, like, fancy karate, it's just a chokehold, and, like, the dude just running him into a bunch of shit, and he just keeps holding on, where it's like, that's how a real fight would go.
Right.
It wouldn't be, like, this fancy Hi-ya, like,
Krav
fucking,
Maga
like,
or some shit.
It's just, he just has a fucking chokehold on him, and the dude is just throwing him into shit, trying to get him off until he, like, suffocates and dies.
Right.
And but I think that's what I like about it, where he's instilling comic book ethics into the real world, where like this is a superhero, but he's instilling real life ideals into like how he fights and how he like saves people.
Yeah, it's like a super grounded story. That's how it's like so easy to see like how this could kind of happen, like, in real life, even though he's got these weird supernatural, but it's, like, only slightly elevated supernatural abilities where it's not, like, far-fetched. When it, like, I don't want to jump to the next movie quite yet, but, like, it takes a bigger leap in the next movie.
Yeah.
But it's still, I don't think, completely out there, but I'll save that for our next week.
Yeah. I agree with you. I feel like it still stays in realism, like how it's introduced when like he comes into the fucking car. But I'll talk about that next week. Right. But yeah, like that's the thing that I like the most about this movie is that like he still, even with all of the crazy outlandish stuff that he introduces with like Sam Jackson being like a super villain,
right,
and Bruce Willis being like this superhero that's borderline invincible with the ability to touch people and find out the last bad thing they did, he still finds a way to make it feel like a real life world just based on like the things you encounter outside of that. Like this localized thing of Sam Jackson and Bruce Willis are the only two weird anomalies in this world. Everything else is exactly how it is today.
Yeah.
It's just these two things are the things that you don't encounter in everyday life.
Right. And even, like, Sam Jackson really isn't that out there.
He isn't, but he definitely is, like, an evil genius type.
Yeah. Yes.
With the things that he does.
Yeah. Like a megalomaniac type shit. But I guess you could see like how a person actually could be like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, what did you think about the pacing of this? Because it does have a slower pacing, but do you think that hinders the movie?
My thing is, I love every aspect of this movie, but the acting. I feel like M. Night Shyamalan, especially at this point, like, I think he's gotten better over the years, especially when he had like his comeback when he did the that movie about like the weird grandparents. He's gotten better at it, but I feel especially back here, he really rode off of that success of The Sixth Sense that he never really found out how to direct actors well.
Okay.
Where they only have like that drawl kind of whispery, like, they never really show emotion to where it's like it stays interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a good at director in terms of like the shots that he gets.
Yeah.
There's some really cool shots in here. Even like the shot when Elijah sees his first comic book, he sees it upside down, and the camera keeps it where it's upside down, where it kind of gives you that idea that his ideas of what he's going to read in this book are going to be skewed for like the rest of his life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like that stuff. I like when Bruce Willis is having that conversation with that woman in the train in the first scene, and you're seeing it through like the eyes of a kid, where it's like he's looking through like the crease in the seat, and they're going back and forth between the woman and Bruce Willis.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like small things like that.
And that's all one big long take, too.
Yeah. I thought stuff like that was really cool. Like, he's really good at getting shots, and he's really good at, I think he would even be really good at the pacing. It's just that he has no idea how to direct actors where it keeps the story compelling. Like, he doesn't know how to, like, elevate certain characters to where it's like, okay, this is important, and then get to where, okay, now this is like more downtrodden. Like, he doesn't know how to like play with the pitch of how a character acts. He just kind of keeps it drawl the whole time. Even has scenes where it's like someone is talking at Bruce Willis, and he just kind of like sits there and takes it, where it's like, you could have easily like cut it and just put a fucking bald mannequin there and then go back in, and then he doesn't talk or doesn't move or anything. He just stands there and takes it, where it's like, this is your main character. Like, you're supposed to like get some feeling of his emotion throughout this, and he's a blank slate. A lot of the characters in this are a blank slate for the most part.
Yeah, like I kind of agree with you that some of the characters came off droll, and even points that like I didn't believe like the performance.
Yeah.
Like a scene I'm gonna bring up in just a minute here. But like, is this the point where like Bruce Willis is just playing himself?
Maybe, but I've seen Bruce Willis play. I don't think this is Bruce Willis. I think this is M. Night Shyamalan. Because even Robin Wright is a fucking good actress, and she sucks in this. I
thought there was some points that she was kind of droll, but I didn't hate her in this. I guess the one scene I wanted to talk about is like the scene with the gun at the kitchen table.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't believe any of that tension in there, and I thought all the line deliveries were kind of odd.
Yeah.
Like, to me, I just couldn't believe the scene, and I was kind of glad when it was over. But the scene is, like, actually based on, like, a real-life thing that happened to George Reeves, who played Superman, like, back in the 40s or 50s, I think.
Yeah.
He showed up at, like, a kid's birthday, and the kid pulled his dad's gun on him. And is like, you can't die because you're Superman. And George Reeves just shits in his briefs. Like,
yeah.
Listen, kid, if you shoot me, it'll bounce off me and hit somebody else. So you should probably give me the gun. And like, it happened in real life.
Yeah.
Like in that one movie where Ben Affleck plays George Reeves, like they play out that scene in that movie. Yeah. I don't know how good it is because I've never seen that movie. I just know that it happens in that movie or whatever.
I mean, yeah, it's a cool scene, but it's just, I don't know. I feel like M. Night Shyamalan, he stumbled on to The Sixth Sense, where it gave him such success that he went on to make other films, but he never learned how to get a good performance out of an actor. Like a lot of the success of The Sixth Sense rode off of that amazing ending.
Yeah.
And then going on to this, he didn't really... I feel like he should have gotten more training to just fucking know how to get a performance out of an actor, because I see a lot of this shit all the time where it's like these like crazy like quote-unquote art films fucking get like these droll-ass performances out of actors, and then they like kind of like try and play it off as like, no, it's artistic, where it's like, no, you just don't know how to fucking direct an actor. You don't know how to get the performance you want, so you just make everyone talk droll and like very monotone, so it's like a blank slate for like the story you want to tell. I believe M. Night Shyamalan is a great storyteller. He just doesn't know how to portray it through an actor or an actress. Because I liked this. The story the movie tells I liked, but I was trying to figure out why I was falling asleep while watching it, and then I came to the conclusion that it's just the actors don't know what they're doing in the scene to really put across that this is what they feel, this is what's going on. And so it's like, taking a scene for what it is, I'm bored, but the story as a whole, like thinking back at the entire movie, it's good. It just it never sells itself to me through its actors.
I just going by pacing alone, I never was bothered by the slow nature of it. I'm
not bothered by slow movies. I just want something I can invest in.
Yeah,
and nobody gave me anything to invest in.
Yeah, and I can't see, to me, like, I don't know if I'm gonna believe so much that for Bruce Willis's instance, for example, like, or if he's at this point kind of like, I'm just gonna play the character I always play. And that it's kind of a shame that I can't tell what is what.
Yeah.
But with why am I blanking on her name? Robin Wright.
Robin Wright, yeah.
I did feel like sometimes she came off a little flat too.
Yeah.
But but then at some points they're not really at the best of points in their lives. They're like possibly going through a divorce, maybe.
Like they could have played this up really cool, where I felt like the reason why their relationship was falling apart was because Bruce Willis can't be too close to somebody, because he has that thing where it's like, if you touch someone, you can see the terrible shit they did.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, yeah, he loves her, but like every time because even like, if you kind of like pay attention to the whole movie, like he kind of keeps his distance from her, even when they're on their date.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like he loves her, he just doesn't want to see the shitty shit she's done, and that's what skews his perception of her.
Yeah,
like he wants to maintain that love for her without constantly having to see what's the last terrible thing she did.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, maybe that like he's at a point in his life where like he doesn't realize that he has that power. But like when he touches her and he's just like, I just have a bad feeling about you. That's what keeps that distance between them. Where like she's trying to let him in, but he won't let himself, because it's like, I just don't feel right about you because of this.
Just speculation point. What do you think is the reason they're getting divorced? Is it just that he like resents not being able to follow up with what he wanted to do when he was a kid, and it's finally now just getting to him? Or do you think that Robin Wright's character actually did something for him to want to like separate, or what?
I think him resenting her, I think that's her reasoning for why he's so distant, but I think the real reason is because when he touches people, he sees the last terrible thing they did. And because when he touches her and sees all the shit, like, a person as good as they are, they do shitty shit regardless.
Yeah, right.
There's things we hide from each other all the time that we don't tell anybody. Even like people that are the closest to us, there's still certain things that we hide from them.
Mm-hmm.
He can see it all.
Mm-hmm.
And even when he doesn't really realize it and he touches her and he sees it, like that's just an image that he can't get out of his head. And that's what kind of like makes him distance himself from her.
Mm-hmm.
Like even at the beginning, he wants to fuck that chick on the train.
Yeah, and he even takes off his wedding band and sticks it in his pocket. And then,
like, that's why he puts it, because when he shakes her hand to figure out what she's doing, I bet she's going where she's going because she's gonna cheat on her husband. Because he shakes her hand and says, "Oh, so what are you up to?" And she's like, "I'm married." He's like, "Oh, well, I'm sorry." Because she said it like she expected him to see her ring, but she's totally going to go cheat on her husband. And that's what he saw, because it's like, oh, well, I can get away with it. She's already in a relationship. I can just fuck her. We don't have any kind of emotional ties.
I didn't take it like this at
No.
all.
No. It's, from his perspective, if he were to come across a woman that's already married and is already with the intention of cheating on her husband, it's the perfect relationship for him, because he can have sex with her. There's no emotional ties, and then they have a reason to separate completely afterwards. There's no emotional strings that can tie back to either or. So that's why he keeps hitting on her after he shakes her hand, because he sees that she already has the intention to cheat on her husband. And then when she says, "Well, I'm married," and he's like, "Oh, okay, well, I guess I didn't see your ring." And she like acts offended. She didn't see his ring. She didn't see her ring. Where it's like, that's kind of like his go-to. He goes on the train and finds people that he can kind of have an emotional tie to that can be cut off immediately because of the situation. That's what I saw that scene as.
It's quite a theory. I don't see it like that at all, but...
Well, you just don't watch cinema like me.
I guess not. I don't extrapolate on opening scenes as much as that. But anyway, that's pretty much all I got about Unbreakable that I can think of.
Yeah.
Anyway, what would you want to grade this bad boy?
Like I said, I thought the movie was interesting. I liked the way the story progressed, but again, I can't get over how like borderline terribly the actors are directed in this movie. I just can't. Even like Sam Jackson feels like he's watered down in this. Like, I feel like he could have gotten way more of a performance out of him if the director knew how to like harness that Sam Jackson-ness out of him. Like, even he feels like he's just kind of like tethered down a little bit. So I'm gonna give it like maybe like a lower end of a B, borderline B minus, because I just can't get over it. I like, it's interesting. It just doesn't stick out to me.
I think it's resonated me like with quite a bit more. Like, I don't know if I completely agree with the not being able to direct directors. I know when he made this, he was not as seasoned.
Yeah.
So that could be a chunk of it.
This makes me want to go back and watch The Sixth Sense.
See, I'm going to piggyback on that for a second, because The Sixth Sense is also kind of like downplayed a little bit too.
Yeah.
And I wondered if he wanted just the same kind of tone for this.
Yeah.
And he kind of just said, "Hey, did you see The Sixth Sense kind of be like that?"
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's true or not. The acting only got to me in like a few places. Otherwise, I thought it was fine for what the movie was. The pacing didn't bother me. I kind of like the slow burn of it, and then you learn about David Dunn as it goes along. And I'm just a fan of comic stuff, so like that also adds in. So I think I like this more than you, but I'm gonna give this a fairly high grade, but I'm teetering on an A minus.
Okay.
I really dig this movie.
Yeah, no, I get it. I liked it for what it is. It's just I can't get over the drawl, just monotoneness of people talking the whole time.
That's fine. Different strokes, man.
Whatever, dude. Whatever, man.
Like,
Die Hard's Christmas
that's
movie.
totally like your opinion, man.
We're gonna fight about this.
I'm done fighting. I don't
We're gonna
care.
BVS this shit.
So there you go. A little bit of a discrepancy here between our fine hosts. There's a bit of a discrepancy.
Yeah. I'd like to know what what's his name would think of our opinions.
What's his name?
The guy that did the email for this.
Sean, under an
Sean.
anchor.
Yeah.
Well, I know he really liked it, so I'm assuming he's going to be more upward towards me. Not to gang up on you, but it is a gang fight at this point.
No, Sean, check out the movie again. See if you...
Yeah, revisit this bad boy.
Revisit it. Get back to us. See if you either side more with T-Max or with me. I'm not saying I hate the movie altogether.
Right. I didn't take it as that.
I'm just saying there's things that just kind of rub me the wrong way in terms of the acting.
I feel like you're trying to defend yourself, and I'm not trying to...
Look, man! Oh, shit, I pulled a gun!
Oh, my God. Don't shoot me. If you shoot me, I'm going to New York. Hey, thanks for listening. If you want to join us on social media, do so at ReviewReviewPod on Twitter. If you happen to be a Facebooker, do that ReviewReviewPod on Facebook. You can find us at our host site at reviewreviewpod.podbean.com, but you don't have to listen to just there. We are also on a multitude of platforms such as Google Podcasts, Alexa devices, Stitcher, and Apple Podcasts. If you happen to be an Apple user, rate and review us there, because if you like the show, that helps other people find the show as well. If you want to write in, do so at reviewreviewpod@gmail.com. Thanks for listening again. We'll see you next time.
And we're off.